friends. I just wanted to check in with you and show you what I've gotten done so far with my English paper piecing stuff. I haven't been able to work on it very much lately, but I did get a really good head start after I got those first initial centerpieces cut out. So I'm excited to show this to you. Probably going to put a lot of these up in photos instead of on the video, so I'm not like shoving things in your video face and all. But this is the first one that I finished the centerpiece of. So I've gotten 3 rounds done on both of my quilts. One of them, I think I've decided will end up being a little footstool cover. And I'm kind of hoping I get the whole quilt done on the second one. We'll see how that goes. I hope it goes well. But I'll keep you posted on that for sure. But I've gotten 3 rounds done on each one. And this is the first one. This is the one that I had glue basted, I think. Yes, because I don't see the thread basting on that. I decided that glue basting is not my favorite. I decided that thread basting I like better than the glue basting. Maybe I'm not very neat with glue. I kind of felt like I got it all over my fingers and that wasn't super for me. Excuse me. I found the glue basting to be a little difficult to get the paper pieces out of. Now that might be me. I did a little bit of online research. Some people said if you ironed it, it loosened the glue. Some people said if you ironed it, it made the glue stronger. I didn't know what to do about that. So I just kind of ripped them out. I kind of took a seam ripper and put it between the paper piece and the fabric to kind of eke the fabric away from the paper piece. That was not my favorite thing to do. It was much easier to just take the seam ripper and just cut that thread basting out. So I am going all thread basting. Your mileage may vary. There are some people who love the glue basting, especially when they buy the right kind of glue and stuff like that. But I'll probably be sticking to thread basting. But I got my blue done in the center, my 5 pieces done in the center. I got the next pieces done out here and I did fussy cut those pretty well. Like I said, I'll put some pictures up so that this blue line goes all the way around. And then I had this dandelion fabric on this print that I really loved. And I loved how I was able to make the dandelions go back and forth and kind of dance around the center. If you remember a couple videos ago when I had my fabrics all chosen and purchased and I was like, I hate these. I don't think I'm going to use these. All of the fabrics so far have come from that little batch of but that little batch of fat quarters that I didn't think I was going to end up using. So I'm really glad that I kept them around and that I'm still looking at them because I feel like it's really coming together nicely. So the second one that I'm doing with the longer leaves, I think that's turning out pretty good as well. I did not fussy cut the diamonds, the secondary diamonds here, and I kind of fussy cutted the pentagons. I kind of fussy cut those. I planned it, I should say that, because they all have stamps on them and I kind of wanted different colors of the stamps going around. So in a way I fussy cut it because I knew exactly what I wanted on the piece, but it didn't have to be exact. I wasn't matching it up to another piece that was right next to it. So it wasn't semi-fussy cutting, maybe thoughtfully cutting instead of fussy cutting. Both of my centers, I did end up taking at least one piece out and rearranging that fabric on the paper piece and putting it back together and putting it back in the center because I just wasn't 100% satisfied. Maybe fussy cutting isn't quite for me because I'm never going to be 100% satisfied with it. These are fine. These will do. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to get it completely perfect. So maybe this is something I won't be doing for a long time after this, but I'm really happy to try it. It's super fun while I'm doing it. Last video, I mentioned that I would try to talk about tools a little bit. So let's look at needle sizes for a second. The needle size for your basting doesn't really matter. Use something you're comfortable with. You don't want to leave a big honking hole in your fabric because you're going to be pulling that thread out, but use something that's comfortable for you. Sewing the pieces together, I used a pretty fine thread. This is an Aurifil thread. Honestly, I'm not sure of the size of this thread. I know thread has sizes. There's a lot of markings on here. I know this is 100% cotton though, and I know it's pretty thin. So I knew I would want to use a pretty small needle. So I got a small needle that was suggested to me at the quilt store. I got a size 12 of these black and gold needles. And these are great needles, but as you can see, I have to wear glasses for close-up stuff. It took me forever to thread these things. Oh my God. It was a tenacious ordeal for me. I loved the needles. They worked great. They're nice and tiny to do the tiny little stitches that I'm doing when I piece my pieces together, but they were hell to thread. So I kicked it up a notch to a size 9. So that's actually kicking it up from a 12 to a 9 is a decent jump. That's 2 or 3 needle sizes. Much, much easier for me to thread. They're still nice and short, so I can get those tiny little stitches done just as easily, but much easier for me to thread. So I will be sticking with those. And talking about sewing the pieces together, I've just realized that I don't really do that on camera yet. I actually want to do a little bit more research. I've seen that some people do all kinds of stitches really close together. And I think that might be a little bit of overkill for me. The pieces that I have put together, I've used what's called the ladder stitch, which is just a slip stitch. So you slip it on one side, go across, slip on the other, go across. And I think I like that, but I think my little ladder rungs are a little too long. I'm gonna poke around and do a little bit more research on that as I go into the next step of my quilt, which is gonna be the star shapes. So there's tiny little pentagons with those itty bitty little teeny tiny triangles all the way around them. That's a lot. I'm not sure what fabric I'm going to use either. I think I want I think I want the stars to really stand out. So there's stars all the way around, and then in between the stars there are little diamond shapes. So I think I want to make the stars all the same color. I think I want to make the pentagon in the middle and the little triangles around it the same color. And then I want the diamonds to be kind of a neutral background color. So on this, I might use like a big, these are the 2 fabrics that I was thinking about for this. Or maybe these were the ones I was thinking about for this. I think these are the ones I was thinking about for this. Kind of a beigey bluey batik for the diamond shapes, and then nice bright navy blue for the stars. And these were the ones I was thinking about for this one, and it would be the green for the background, and then this for the stars, but I'm not sure how this is going to come out for the stars. So I might need to do a little bit of experimental fiddling, stitching. I may just cut a star shape out of this, a big star shape, and put it there and see how it looks. Again, those are fabrics that I bought for the project. They're not fabrics that I've gone out and bought. which really surprises me. I didn't think I was going to use many of those fabrics that I first showed you at the beginning. So I'm pretty happy about that. So that's my next step, stars, diamonds in the background. And I'll do a little bit of stitching on video too and kind of show you how that's going and what I think of that. One thing that I am going to change up, I did use this off-white fabric, excuse me. I used the off-white thread, and you won't be able to see it. I probably can't even get a decent picture of it. But some places where the fabrics are dark, I don't like the way the stitching shows up. Now, due to the nature of English paper piecing, your stitches are going to kind of show. You're not going to be able to hide them completely. You shouldn't try to hide them completely. But I did buy some dark thread too, just so I have the light and the dark, and I can kind of go back and forth depending on what kind of fabric I'm working with. One more tool that I wanted to mention that's a good thing to have in your kit is the fray check. If you remember in the last video when I was cutting the seam allowances on my pieces, there was one seam allowance that was really very close to the edge and kind of sketchy for me. I made sure to put a little bit of fray check along that seam, and I tucked it under and I sewed it up to the next piece, and it worked great, and that seam is holding nice and strong. So if you're doing the 1/4 inch seam allowance and you're not really sure about it, fray check can definitely be your friend in that respect. So I think that's it. I think I covered the things that I wanted to cover. I'm gonna check my list real quick. All right, so that's good. Check the list. Everything's marked off. I think I've hit all the points that I wanted to hit on, and I'll see you next time.